Ladies and gentlemen and diehards, we're this morning talking with Monte Wyatt, the great Monte Wyatt, who either fortunately or unfortunately lives in Des Moines. Des Moines, for the people who live in New York, is in Iowa, because people in New York have no idea of geography once you get past New Jersey until you get to Vegas. Everything else in the middle is a farm. But Monte and I are going to be doing a seminar at the first week in May, and it's going to be about leadership. It's going to be about sales, but I want to add the fact that I'm going to be bringing information about artificial intelligence that salespeople can actually use and leaders can actually use to turn their teams into better people and to turn themselves into higher earners, period. I'm negotiating with the founders of one of the largest AI companies on the planet, and they are convinced that education will overtake entertainment in terms of AI revenue. And I believe they're right. So with that, Monte, talk to me about what you're experiencing right now in the marketplace. Where are people succeeding? Where are they failing?
You know, it's interesting. In the last 3 years, we have gone through so many things, from COVID to great resignation to quiet quitting to an impending great recession,
and working from home.
Say again?
Remote working.
Yes, and we're working from home. And
I hate that, by the way.
So I think there's so many things that we've gone through in 3 years that people don't know how to respond. We don't know what's right. We don't know what works. And so leaders are struggling to actually lead, and people are struggling to lead themselves because they don't know what to do.
And I think that they're not sure about what's next.
Right.
Because there's so much uncertainty. So when I begin my talk, I'm going to quote the great Dan Burrus, who says, in times of uncertainty, document what you're certain of. And that will begin a process that you and I will collaborate with. I'll do mine, you'll do yours, and then we're going to do something together that will allow people in my opinion, the confidence and the freedom to move forward.
I think there is a lot of lack of confidence at every level today. And I think that's impacting our mental state. It's impacting our productivity.
Yeah, I will tell you that there are some mornings when I get up that I have to force myself, because you've been so preoccupied with where you can't go, the mask that you have to wear, the crap that you got to put up with in public, people whining about everything and everyone. And I've just decided to the root word of ignorance is ignore.
Yeah.
And my dad taught me that the root word of prejudice is ignorance. And so I'm going to try to eliminate both of those things and concentrate on what I can do to better myself, what I can do to help my family, and then what I can do to help my customers become more successful. And I think that's a key that people are overlooking. They're so worried about crap that they're not focusing on what they can do. They're focusing on what they can't do.
We have to take ownership. We have to take individual ownership and create that awareness of ourselves. And I think there's so many people that are impacting others by their behaviors because they aren't willing to reflect. They aren't willing to watch their own behavior.
I'm going to ask salespeople to define themselves. In our event, which I'm going to talk about assertive selling, and I'm going to talk about artificial intelligence, not as an answer, but as a sales tool. And I'm going to talk about how do you define yourself in terms of where are your expertises? How can you help people the most? Because when you figure that out, you can march to victory. Until you figure that out, you're a sales guy making a sales pitch with a bunch of boring slides.
There's too many pitches today. We're not discovering, we're not asking questions, we're not understanding, we're just trying to pitch.
Exactly. And I think that if you go back to last week, actually this week, the Japan USA baseball team, that was about pitching. Everything else is about It's about selling. And I think that uh, salespeople are going to have to learn that it's not about a pitch. It's about a performance, and how are you're judged on your performance, period. Are you helping me, the customer, win? Because if you're not, you're going to lose to somebody that does.
I was with a sales team a few weeks back, and we were talking about practicing, practicing how you ask questions, practicing how you're having the conversation to understand your customer. And one person said, I just don't have time to practice. So isn't going on sales calls practicing? And I'm like, you're practicing in the middle of your game. That's not going to work. You need to practice. You need to watch yourself. You need to ask yourself these questions. You need to flow through the conversation.
People don't understand how that relates to athletics. So I'm going to give you an example. This is one of my friends, Dave Winfield. Here he is, his rookie year as a Yankee, where he made more money than any other athlete ever at that time in the 80s. He played baseball for 23 years, and for 23 years, every game, he went out and practiced before the game started. Sometimes for hours. Practice fielding, practice hitting. Now think about the value of that over a 23-year period of time, where you get 3,000 hits, hit 475 home runs, win a World Series, Golden Gloves, and Hall of Fame first ballot. He's Hall of Fame first ballot, not because of how he hit, but because of how he practiced.
Yep.
That's the whole deal. And if you're not willing to practice what you're telling me as a salesperson, you're not willing to go to the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. You got to teach, you got to view that you're a professional. And if we're not practicing, we're not professionals.
Correct. And me personally, I still have several years of college eligibility left, so I consider myself an amateur. But at any time, I could be redshirted to Iowa State, where I could throw a ball better than your quarterback did this year. Anyway, the challenge for people that are going to come to our event is they want to walk away with ideas that they can turn into money.
Yes.
And that's our challenge. We're going to huddle over the course of the next month to talk about ideas that we can share with people who attend our event that literally they can turn into money, which is really all people care about. When they come to a sales event, they're going to meet people. They may try to meet people to make a sale, in the networking process, but they want to walk away with information, valuable information. They don't care what I ever did in New York or where I ever went or how I've ever traveled. They only care about, can you please give me an idea right now? Because I need to turn that into money right now. Isn't that crazy?
Absolutely right.
And that's what I do. Yeah, literally, that's what I do. I have a company. I can't give away information. You'll have to come to the event if you want the information. Sorry. And the best part is it's inexpensive, and it's going to be fun as hell, and you're going to have a great time. You're not going to be fed unless you want to buy the lunch and it's extra. You're going to get coffee. I want to give them gruel in the morning so they get ready for a tough time. Bring your own food. You have food at home. Open your refrigerator. Bring an apple. Bring the food. It's at the store. It is. This is what people don't know. Coffee in a hotel is $100 a gallon. $100. It costs more than gas, if that's possible. But I think you have to look at this from the perspective of, you're not there to eat, you're there to learn.
That's right.
And we're going to make sure that you walk away with a full mind. You can go eat lunch, whatever, but it's a full day. Just get there early. I'll be there hanging out. Monty will be there hanging out. We'll talk to people literally until the event starts. And I think you're going to find that there's comfort in talking to people that are winning right now, not just from a standpoint of specific subjects, but just people and how do we carry ourselves? How do we handle ourselves? Because in today's world, man, it's crazy. I've never seen it this crazy. Have you?
No, I'm one of the things I'm going to stress the whole time is we got to break through our next ceiling. Every one of us has a ceiling, and we're going to break through it by new knowledge, by preparing, by practicing, and by the self-awareness that you need to have of what's it going to take to break through that next level for you.
I'm going to share with you something that you can immediately understand. Go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, and buy a 12-foot ladder, and then have the balls to climb. A Little Giant would be the brand I recommend because they're the safest. But climb the ladder, and it's going to make breaking through the ceiling a hell of a lot easier than if you're trying to jump up and break it. There are steps that you take in building your own successful career, and the next step that you take will allow you to punch a hole in the ceiling. You're not going to do it by going, boy, it sure is high up here. I sure wish I could get there. I sure wish my competition would just die. They're not going to die.
No.
They're having a meeting right now across town about how to kick your ass. And that's what you have to deal with. That's the fun part.
Absolutely. You got to make it fun.
And the good news is your competitors are not that good. That's the best news I've heard. But you have to be able to prove that you're who you are. So you attract with value, and then you inspire people to want to take action, but they're not going to take action until you prove it. And that's what we're going to focus on, how to prove that you are who you say you are, how to be that next person. And it's so much fun. I mean, literally, it's not like a walk in the park in New York, but it is a walk in the park. And you're in Des Moines. You're in a place where it's nice and safe, and tumbleweeds blow in the winter, and insurance companies are there. The best place to have an accident and file a claim is in Des Moines. They're all there.
It takes work, and you got to be willing to put the work in.
Yep. And to prove that Des Moines is still in America, they have a Starbucks. They've got a few of them now. So we're Grand Central Station, but I'm looking forward to being there because it's real America.
Yes.
This is, these are their family values. And I'm going to be talking about family and the important role that it plays in your success, and the role it's played in my success. And I'm about to become a great grandfather. That will happen. It will not have happened by the time of the event, but that won't occur until like June, I think, the end of June. So we'll see. But in the meantime, I'm going to post. Let me see if I can find this real quick, Monty. I think I have it right here. Oh my God. So why is Google smarter than I am?
AI.
Thanks. That's freaking crazy. I'm going to try to get the link right here, but I'm going to spell it out so you can go and get a ticket this very minute. Don't wait. How many people are we limited to there?
Around 200.
I mean, dudes, this is critical. So the link is DDM, like in Des Moines, salesevent.com. And that will take you right to a page where you can buy a ticket. And I'm going to click the link right this minute to make sure it's working. Oh, yeah. You're there looking balder than ever. Good
Yes.
God.
It's the only way to look.
Huh? Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Monty and I have known each other since we've had hair.
That is true.
And I think that is representative of a genuine friendship. When you can keep a friendship for more than a decade, you win. But ours is approaching 20 years. And, we've watched our kids grow up and our families expand and shrink. But I think the bottom line is that there's a mutual respect based on intellectualism, value, and trust. And when you have those elements, you win. And we're going to share that with you as an audience to talk about how you can build long-term relationships that actually turn into friendships as your relationship evolves. That's the cool part.
Yeah.
It's so unspoken. It's so underplayed, the value of making a friend. I'm having lunch later on today with a business friend of mine who I've known for 35 years. And there hasn't been one day where we weren't friends. He was my first friend in Charlotte, and we're still pals. It's fun. And he has these huge black labs that he takes with him, that he takes everywhere they go. So now they're going to get to shoot the breeze with our dogs tomorrow. I
Oh,
can't
that's
wait for
great.
that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What do you feel right now is, just give me a couple of needed ingredients for leaders so that they can have something to chew on until they come to our event.
Something that's needed right now is an abundant mindset. What I mean by abundant mindset is, how can we get something done? Instead of saying we can't or we don't know how, we have to say, how can we? And I think that's a big challenge today, is everybody's got this scarcity world that they're dealing with. And we need to think more abundantly. How can we make this work? How can we find a way to incorporate this? Or how can we work better with our customers? That to me is a huge aspect of it, is having an abundant mindset.
That's a big picture piece. And we're going to break that down as well to talk about, okay, what are 5 things you can do to build a deeper relationship?
Yep.
And how do you have that meeting to tell the person that your prices are going up? There's so many little nuanced things that you have that you fight every day. And the one thing that I think Monte and I are going to give you is, you're not alone.
Right.
We're going to help you get through this thing and get through it in ways where you actually feel valued when you get home instead of depressed. I think that there's so many things that people could do, just little things that they can do. And you watching this video right now should be inspired enough to hit the link and go buy a ticket. And I'm telling you, it'll sell out. There will be no tickets very shortly. So your job is to pick up your finger, go to the internet and click it. Pick up your finger right now. We live in a touchscreen world.
Absolutely right.
If you have a laptop, you're probably stymied a little bit. That would be a mouse. You can use the mouse. But on your phone or on your iPad, finger, dude. It's how you turn the page of a book. It's how you pay for your credit card bill. I mean, it's unbelievable how sophisticated the world has become in 10 years. And it's nowhere near where it's going to be. My grandkids are looking at me like I'm primitive. I'm not, I occasionally will play TikTok, but I'm an Instagrammer. But I'm telling you, I have no idea of how a kid thinks these days.
No.
None. And it's exciting to watch that change come about. But as a salesperson, you better be ready to do business in today's world. As a leader, you better be ready to do leadership in today's world. And that's what we're going to feature and talk about on the next episode of Jeffrey and Monte Appear in Person in Des Moines.
Absolutely right.
I think I want to say it's May the 4th. Am I right on the date?
May the 4th. You're correct.
And it's in not actually, is it in Des Moines, or is it in West Des Moines?
It's in West Des Moines.
Yeah. See, that's the whole deal. You got West, there's no East Des Moines, but there is a West Des Moines. There is not a South Des Moines, but there is a West Des Moines. So if you're in the south part of the city, you live near West Des Moines.
That's right.
That's how you define it. But I can't wait to see people that I've been friends with there for 20 years. And there's so many cool things about the city that are just available no place else. And people that live there don't regard it as treasure, but I do.
Mhm.
It's cool.
We're gonna
I
have a
lived in
great time.
Indiana. I lived in Indiana for 4 years. I get it. I just totally get it. Didn't lock the house, didn't take the keys out of the car for 4 years.
And people want to interact with others. People need that interaction.
They
As
want
long
to
as,
talk.
as long as you're bringing value.
I think that we should have a couple of minutes where people just mill around and shake hands with somebody they don't know.
Mhm.
And there's, you're looking to build relationships, make them with other salespeople, make them with other leaders. They're there and they're open, they're wide open. I mean,
Absolutely.
totally wide open. So I think we should do one more chat before the event, and maybe talk a little bit more specifically about what's going on. Monty takes notes as we talk. That's a sign that he's totally listening. It is the 2-word secret of listening. Take notes.
Yep.
And we're going to be revealing that and other secrets as we get into this event. But in the meantime, as usual, Monty, pleasure.
Enjoy it and look forward to having you in Des Moines.
My people will talk to your people shortly.